Okay, so I'm down here on the floor. I don't have a puppy at the moment, so I'm using Virgil just to explain what I do with puppies to start off with. Obviously Virgil is not a puppy, but you have to use your imagination. What I'm going to do with Virgil is just to show you how I get him started, or how I get puppies started. And what I want to do is just show you that I'm down the floor for a reason. This is where puppies are comfortable, young dogs are comfortable. You don't want to be imposing and over the top of them, so I tend to always start all my puppy work down on the floor with them at a level. A lot of people make a mistake when they're doing their retrieving work, that they let the puppy have the retrieve, and then as soon as the puppies pick the retrieve, they're trying to get the ball or the dummy off the dog, and that is the last thing you really want to do. But if you're down on the floor, you can make it into a fun game with them. So that's what I'm going to do, is show you with Virgil. Obviously very stressed today, aren't you, Virgil? I'm just going to show you how I get puppies started. So I'm down here. I'm using a bit of vet bed, by the way, because I have a bad knee. Feel free to do so. I've got this little slip collar on Virgil. So the idea is that when we're doing retrieving, that when you've got your puppy, we want the puppy to only be released to go and pick the ball if he's satisfying the 3 conditions. Number 1 being that he's in the right place. So if he was next to you at heel, and you were standing up, obviously, when he's an adult dog, which I'll show you in a minute. The second is that he's still, so he needs to be still. And the third is that he's focused. So if he's actually focused on the tennis ball out in the garden, he is going to probably be still. What most puppies tend to do, though, is they see a ball go, because puppies, Labradors or any dogs, their eyes are designed to see movement. That's how they catch their prey. So if he sees the ball go and he fights like mad to get down to be retrieving, then all you're going to do is just walk out and pick the ball up and start again. So what you're looking for, if I had a young puppy now, just get Virgil in the right place. Virgil, come on, have a, come on, Virgil. Come on. Just thinks this is a bit odd. So if he was a puppy, we're talking a puppy that's had his inoculations, if you're taking him to have lessons, or if you're on your own, just in the garden, you might want to get some help as well to pick the ball up if you're down on your knees. Virgil, come. So imagine he's a puppy. My hand would be between his front legs, and that is how I start them off. So I'd be holding the puppy between the front legs. My ball is going to come out. And so he's in the right position. I don't mind that he's sitting, but normally as a puppy he'd be stood. And I would have this hand just literally looped through the thumb here and my hand underneath. So if I had that long lead with the collar on, I just have my hand looped through the loop itself, the hand through the loop. And the reason being is that if he then tries to run in, I can stop him. So I might also, if it's an older dog, have hold of the collar if I was doing some retraining, for example. So all I'm going to do is, you can see he knows what the tennis ball's about. So I'm going to make the throw sound first. I'm not going to throw it very far because I'm just trying to show you what we do. And then, as long as he's still and locked on, I'll release him, and I'll just show you then how I would welcome him back in with the tennis ball. So he's got to be focused. Virgil didn't move. And then as a puppy, this is a little puppy who's 12 weeks of age, 14 weeks of age, this is what I would do. I wouldn't go after the ball at all. I'd avoid the puppy's head, and I'd just stroke the puppy's body. I'm just going to let go. He's going to turn around. The same principle. So this is how Virgil was started. What I don't do is go after the ball, because he's just earned that. He needs to be able to hold it and have it for longer. So dead. When I then want the ball, dead, off the puppy, I would use my release command, which is dead for me. And what I don't do is start to drag the ball off the ball out of the dog's mouth. Can you see how Virgil's reacting to me moving this ball? So if I let him have it, Virgil, oh, come on, Virgil. Gone on to playtime now. If I say dead and just get him to release it, dead, I don't move the ball. He should just back off it. Good boy. Good boy. So he should not, I should never pull the ball out of the dog's mouth. As you can see, that's what the reaction you get. They're going after it more. So if that's his mouth and there's the ball, what I say is dead. He should just release and back off it. Keep this really still. So same principle of when he's a puppy. Dead. He should just back off. He now wants to have it back. Dead. Good boy. So I'm not trying to encourage him to go after the ball. I'm trying to get him to hold it. Good boy. And dead. And he should just release it. But you're in playtime mode today, aren't you? So we'll just do that once more. Get him in the right place. So he's my 8-week-old puppy. Key is I need to still have him alongside me. This is a bit weird for Virgil because obviously he's not an 8-week-old puppy and he's thinking, why isn't she standing up, which is normal. Hand through the loop. Now, the key is let the dog take this out of my hand. I mustn't drop this because if I drop it, it becomes an actual cue for him to go, and the cue has to be his name. So I'm just going to let him lock on. Virgil. And to start off with, you won't hold the puppy for very long. As long as the puppy's looking at the ball, and there's like a millisecond before the ball stopped rolling, there's a millisecond before dead. You release him that he's still and he's looking at the ball. You're going to send him quite quickly. If you've seen the first video I did, which was on focus and how we built up to that, we had the dog looking at the ball for up to 3 seconds initially and building on from that. And that's what I would do with a puppy, so exact same thing. Okay, so now I'm actually now in a standing position. I'm just going to show you clearly what I do with Virgil here. What I want to do is really focus on making sure that he's in the right position for his retrieve and that he's locked on. So when I throw this ball, the key thing about having a lawn, a short lawn, is that then we can make sure that it doesn't matter where the ball ends up as long as you don't overthrow it, that the dog can always see it visually, so there's nothing to stop him from locking on. So what I want to do is when I throw the ball, I won't be looking at where the ball ends up, unless I've wildly thrown it. I'll be looking at his eyes, and that's the key, is I want to be looking at his eyes, making sure he's locked on before I send him on his release command. So in this position you can see better, if I have my hand through my loop, that if when he goes, I'm not going to drop the lead, I'm just going to let him take it out of my hand. I like my dogs in the starting position of a stand, so I'm going to do it from here. So make the throw sound first. Come on. Throwing the ball, keeping my hand still so I don't distract him. He's locking on beautifully. Virgil. And as you can see, he just took the lead out of my hand. Then on the way back, same principle. If he was a young dog, I wouldn't go after the ball. I would stroke him first, and I would just, as he goes past me, I'd just stop. He comes back in, I would give him more fuss. And don't worry about getting puppies sitting for delivery. I just want them dead. Coming in nicely to make sure that he's happy just to come back with the ball and he's not going to start parading around or being giddy. If he started running around with a ball, I just take my hands off. They soon realise that they're not going to get any fuss or affection while they're running around you, and you just keep still. And if you're doing this on the floor, it's even better, because eventually they kind of push into you to say, here, have the ball, throw it to me again, I want to do this again. So all I do is I leave him with the ball. If he disappeared now, I would just stop rubbing him, and he would probably go, oh, hang on, I like that, I want to have some more. You can see he's just readjusted himself. Dead. And the same principle, I don't pull the ball out, I let him have the ball, stroke round his face while he's doing this, so he gets used to that, hold the ball dead, and I don't move it. So what do you do if the puppy does run in or makes a movement? So what I want is complete stillness. I don't want the puppy jumping. I don't want any of this hesitation, which we call push behaviour. I don't want any of that, ball, give me the ball, let me have it. What I want to do is reward the puppy for being still, and I can't tell the puppy to do that. All I can do is make sure that I'm consistent with my actions. So for example, if Virgil jumped to go once I threw the ball or the dummy, all I would do is walk out, pick the dummy up and come back. I would deny him the retrieve, or I'd get a friend, if it's easier, to pick the ball up and bring it back to me. What I tend to also do then is also change the direction of the dog, make a big point that we're not having that, so I tend to do a circle as well. So by denying the puppy or the young dog having the retrieve, what you're able to do is show very clearly that they made a mistake. Now, this might happen 3, 4, 5 times. Eventually the puppy will readjust its behaviour, and sometimes puppies kind of go, oh gosh, well I'm not playing then because you don't let me have the retriever. I keep seeing this ball thrown out. I move and then you don't let me have it. You keep picking it up. Well, the key there is normally once they've done the, oh goodness, I'm not going to get it, I'm not going to try, Once you then release them and they feel your hand come from underneath their chest, or if you've got a bigger puppy, you might put your hand just in front of their chest like that, just to restrain them as such. Once they feel that go, once you've said their name, which is the key, is to make sure you say their name first. Once they feel that go, the tension's gone, then they go after it. You can put a little bit of praise and say, that was correct, that's what I wanted you to do. So the key with any of this starting retrieving is being really clear and consistent. You need to be black and white. It might be that you're going out 4 or 5 times, picking up the dummy or the ball, coming back and resetting. You're not ever telling the puppy off. If he goes to go, don't tell him off. The best way for him to learn is by making mistakes. So you just want him to be rewarded by having the retrieve when he gets it absolutely right. So that's the key. If you're consistent, he'll learn very quickly and fast.